This flu season is now so bad, Grady Hospital in Atlanta has now had to set up a mobile emergency department outside to handle the overflow of patients.
The FBI's deputy director is stepping down. We're digging into why.
Wild hogs in the middle of Decatur, the property they've destroyed, and the diseases they carry.
Live from Atlanta, 11Alive at 5 starts now.
But first, we are beginning with breaking news out of DeKalb County. Sky Tracker was just over a bus accident at 285 and I-20. It happened shortly after school let out this afternoon. We're told 3 kids were hurt. Thankfully, none of their injuries are serious. It's still unclear right now how the crash happened and whether or not anyone will be facing any charges.
The other big story we're following for you this evening, new proof the flu season is just getting worse. There are now more than 24 deaths in our state.
That's unbelievable to hear. So many flu patients are now flooding emergency rooms that for the first time ever, Grady Hospital is actually setting up portable emergency departments outside in the parking lot just for the overflow. John Schierick taking a hard look at the numbers for us tonight.
Grady Hospital in downtown Atlanta, just the latest hospital in the U.S., so overwhelmed with so many flu patients. It's having to set up a mobile emergency department outside in the parking lot. A fully functional mobile emergency department, one that is usually deployed for natural disasters. It comes complete with a 2-bed operating room, up to 14 extra beds in all, to provide flu patients with acute care and intensive care. Necessary because Grady is seeing a 25% increase in emergency patients each day, all because of the flu epidemic.
It's been challenging.
Grady's chief of emergency medicine, Dr. Hani Atala, says Grady contracted with Carolina's healthcare system to use this mobile emergency department called Carolina's Med 1 for at least 30 days.
The quality of care will be identical to the care provided in the emergency department.
Across Georgia during this flu season to date, the flu has killed 25 people, compared to last year when there was 1 flu death at this point in the flu season, according to the Georgia Department of Public Health. And so far, there have been 671 people hospitalized in Georgia because of flu, compared with 257 at this point in the flu season last year. The mobile emergency department, one more medical weapon to treat additional patients faster.
We should be able to get up to about at least 100 patients a day.
That is really a lifesaver for you, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Just being able to have the additional space and the state-of-the-art equipment.
Other hospitals in the state are also looking at deploying temporary flu emergency facilities in their parking lots as this flu emergency gets worse. From Grady Hospital in downtown Atlanta, John Schierick, 11Alive News.
John Schierick reporting tonight on an important story, and ER doctors at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta say they've also seen a high volume of flu cases this season, and they're stressing the ER should be the last resort, and parents should only take their children there if they're having trouble keeping fluids down or staying hydrated.
The first stop being to see their pediatrician so that they can be seen by a physician who knows them the best.
For more on the spike in cases, tips to try to stay healthy, 11alive.com. Coming up, we will also verify some of the best ways to treat the flu if you do fall sick.
All new at 5, a huge show of support online tonight for the First Lady, along with Governor Nathan Deal, after the governor revealed his wife is battling breast cancer. Deal tweeted this afternoon his wife Sandra recently underwent a successful surgery to remove a tumor and will now go through chemo to make sure that the cancer doesn't return. In a statement on the governor's website, Georgia's First Lady said, "Nathan and I appreciate your thoughts and prayers at this time, and I look forward to continuing to read to students across the state."
Another beautiful day outside. Rather chilly, but it's still a gorgeous day.
Absolutely. Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb joins us now live, telling us about some of those cooler temps we can soon expect.
Yeah, we've got another front that's on our way. You notice that wind kicking up out there today. And so far, this front that is on the way has very limited moisture with it, but it does have some colder air. But let me show you the moisture that is in association with this. We've got some snow flurries now moving through parts of Kentucky, pushing into Tennessee. That is in association with the front, and that is moving our way. As it pushes into our area later on tonight, there is a slight chance parts of North Georgia could see just a few blowing flurries. I really don't think we'd see much any accumulation up in North Georgia. We won't get any of it here in Atlanta, but watch as we go through the rest of the evening hours tonight. This is our future radar track. See, nothing really major there. We're just talking about with this limited moisture and the cold air coming in, it could shake out just a few flurries over extreme North Georgia. The main impacts we're going to be feeling here will be a another surge of colder air that'll be moving our way. We're going to see our temperatures by morning dropping down to below freezing. Right now, we're in the mid-50s. We topped off at 57 today. A lot of mid and upper 50s around the area, even close to 60 in Athens, also in Covington. Mid-50s on the north side, lower 50s now up in the mountains. So here's what we're watching as we go through the rest of the evening hours tonight. It will remain dry here, just watching that potential of a few flurries up in the mountains. But look how these temperatures fall. Once the sun goes down, we dip back down into the 40s and then even into the 30s by midnight tonight, and continuing that trend downward down to below freezing here to start off the day tomorrow. Stay with us. We'll talk more about how long this cold surge is going to last and if we'll see any moisture mixing in with any future cold air snaps that could give us the potential for snow. We'll talk about some scenarios coming up.
All right, Chris, we'll check back with you soon. Thank you. Right now, a jury is deliberating the fate of a teenager accused of killing a veteran. Closing arguments just wrapped up this afternoon in the trial of Tariq Vasquez. Back in 2016, Vasquez was just 16 years old at the time when prosecutors say he murdered Sergeant Major Randy Smith, who owned a rental property next door. In a rare move, a judge granted Vasquez bond, allowing him to await trial from home rather than behind bars. The decision infuriated Smith's wife, who then started a petition garnering more than 1,000 signatures.
A new distracted driving bill is in our legislature, and it's getting emotional support from families who have lost loved ones in distracted driving crashes. 11Alive's Doug Richards was at the state capitol as the families were speaking at the hearing this afternoon. Doug?
Well, this bill certainly drew impassioned support from three mothers who lost children in traffic accidents that they described as completely preventable and were caused by people who were distracted by using their cell phones while they were driving their cars. One of the mothers was the mother of one of the 5 nursing students who died on I-16 in 2015 when a tractor trailer plowed into their car. The truck driver said he never saw the car and the cars in front of it stopped in traffic. Kathy Clark lost her daughter Emily. She asked lawmakers to pass a bill that would create stiff penalties for using a cell phone unless it is hands-free.
I'm pleading with you for your family, our family, and for Emily's sake, to please vote yes.
My son Parker was killed by a distracted driver. The driver did not stop, later coming to the conclusion he had hit a deer.
Natalie Baccio also asked legislators to pass the bill, which would allow a swipe to make or answer a phone call, but would outlaw the way so many of us now use cell phones while we're driving. And we will have more tonight at 6 on the testimony of the 3 mothers, and we will also have a little bit on some concerns about the bill raised by one legislator who seems to think that it perhaps overreaches a bit. So we'll see you at 6. Back to you.
This still allows people to talk on the cell phone, just not to have their hands on the phone if this passes. Correct, Doug?
That's correct, yes. It would allow people to talk. It would allow a swipe to answer a phone call, a swipe to make a phone call. But most of the other stuff we do would be illegal and severely penalized, potentially.
Many other states already have this in place. Doug Richards, thank you very much. It was earlier this month, Smyrna became the first city in our state to pass a hands-free ordinance, very similar to the proposal that Doug just outlined at the Capitol. Within the city limits, drivers can only use a single touch to answer a call, hang up, or open the GPS. Outside of that, they can't have their phones in their hands and must use voice commands. The new ordinance goes into place April 2nd. Violators could face a fine of up to $150. Tonight, neighbors are pleading with animal control. Stop a pack of wild boars that are roaming around their neighborhood in Decatur.
It can be a big problem. The residents say the boars are terrorizing pets, tearing up yards. 11Alive's Latasha Givens joins us live tonight near Linden Lane in DeKalb County. Latasha?
Well, Ryan, the family of wild boar live at this abandoned home behind me, and residents say they started seeing them a few weeks ago, and now it's almost a nightly occurrence. But let me show you what they're concerned about. Take a look at this front yard. This is what it looks like after a night of the wild hogs rooting for food, completely tearing up this yard. And residents say they're concerned they will not only stop here, but they'll make their way up and down this street. And so far, they've hit 2 lawns. There's a new family living at this abandoned home on Linden Lane. They don't often come out during the day, but the sun reveals their handy hoof work after tearing up this yard overnight. Michelle Isles met them.
We were driving down the street, and that's when we saw them. It was a little family.
But these were no ordinary neighbors.
Those are pigs! 2 big ones and 3 little ones.
This home surveillance video captured them, but neighbors say the distance doesn't show their stature.
They're just big.
Neighbors say 2 of them are nearly 2 feet tall.
Me and my wife were walking the dogs a couple weeks ago, and we saw 4 pigs cross the street. So the dogs went crazy because their hunting instincts kicked in, and people are concerned because they carry disease and they rip up yards and destroy property.
This is one of 2 yards they destroyed while rooting for food. Officials say feral hogs do carry diseases like brucellosis, telomorrhea, and hepatitis E, all of which come from direct contact with the hogs. And we talked to DNR about the homeowners' concerns here, and we wanted to know if they have any plans to come out and live trap these wild hogs. The answer is no. Why? That part of the story coming up next at 6. In Decatur, I'm Latasha Givens, 11Alive News.
All right, Latasha, thank you. Well, folks, never underestimate social media that can go completely crazy over something that really appears to be so innocent. It looks like the new Braves mascot, Blooper. There he is right there. Well, he's going to have to be an acquired taste. After some online grumbling from Braves Nation, the team is giving Blooper a chance to win over the public.
I think that's a great looking mascot.
So Blooper,
right
I don't know. I want Bloopers now.
Awesome. Furry, and that's all.
Today, Blooper visited the studios at 680 The Fan, although, as you can imagine, he was tight-lipped about the reaction. Judging by the comments that we're seeing on Twitter and Facebook, it may take a while to win everybody over. One person says Blooper is a poor man's version of the Philly Fanatic. Yeah, it kind of looks the same. Another compares him not favorably to Beaker from the Muppets.
Yes,
totally. That's sad. Even a Twitter account from Major League Baseball had no idea what Blooper is supposed to be. But it's not all bad. Marcy Tarwater writes on 11Alive Facebook page, Blooper will grow on us. There's a cuteness about him. I suppose so. We are a city that has a complicated history with mascots. The Braves and Chief Nakahoma had an ugly parting back in the 1980s. And who can forget What Is It? Or Izzy? You remember Izzy? That was the mascot for the 96 Olympics right here in Atlanta. As for Blooper, well, time will tell. But he was a big hit with the kids at Saturday's Chop Fest. Maybe that's all that really matters. Over on the 11Alive Facebook page, we asked you if you love or hate the new mascot, and, well, it's overwhelming. 89% say they hate it. Only 11% say they love it. I don't know that I hate it. I mean, that seems a little harsh.
Yeah, that does seem like a harsh label, but I mean, it's cute. It seems happy.
Cute. Yeah.
And I do see the reference to the Muppet character.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like Beaker. He's nice.
We will continue to follow your votes. You can vote online at Facebook. Next week, thousands will head to Minneapolis for the Super Bowl, and tonight we'll meet the students who came up with a musical way to greet everyone.